Hi folks, welcome to another episode in this Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video series. In this video, we are going to do a simple layout for the farm to grocery store supply chain. In other words, we're going to start feeding the masses. They get dissatisfied and grumpy if they are not fed, and who could blame them? So let's take a simple, straightforward approach to feeding our citizens. Let's get started. Smash that subscribe button below right now and click on the bell so you don't miss out on more great content. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Or just give it a thumbs up for yourself so that you'll always be able to come back and watch it again if you need to. So the general location for my farm is going to be over here, and the grocery store I'm going to put right at the corner. So let's just zoom right in that location and maybe out just a little more. Let's build some roads. We'll do that. I like to build roads and power lines to get our infrastructure in place. The medium voltage wires, and we'll just string that along. We're going to need power no matter where we are. I think right about here is a good spot for the grocery store. Oh, over to construction and food and crops related, and there's a grocery store. So let's just rotate that around a little bit, because I want the conveyor belt pointing to the right. And I think that's a good spot right about there, and he's got power. So let's build that. We'll close that up. And maybe put some footpaths in. The citizens like to walk around. Well, just one for now ought to do it. So the next thing in the chain is going to be a warehouse. Essentially what we're doing is we're working backwards from the grocery store back through the food supply chain. Let's go back to construction, over to food and crops, and somewhere around here is a warehouse. There's a warehouse right there. So let's zoom in a little bit, and let's just rotate that around. And I want a conveyor connection there, and that ought to do it just about like, well, let's give them a little more space. And there'll be a reason for that later, but I want some more space between my buildings here. So we'll build that. And then the next thing in the supply chain is the food factory. So we'll go back to construction, over to food and crops related. And there's our food factory. Rotate him around, and let's go like this. And hook him up. There we go. So just about. And that looks like a good spot right about there. So we'll close that up. And before the food factory, we're going to build a grain silo. So back to construction, crops and food. There's a grain silo. And we'll rotate him around so that he has a conveyor belt connection. There we go. Like that. And of course, next is the agrifarm. And we'll connect him. So now we're almost there in terms of our entire supply chain. We of course need some fields here, but let's build some more roads and some more power lines first. So over to roads or infrastructure. There's a road. I'm going to build an asphalt road right about through here. And this one will continue. Oh, I got to make that connection right about there. Let's do that. There we go. And we've got to make sure I connect these buildings so that they have a fire connection and a connection for deliveries. Connection for people and vehicles. And I'll probably put in some footpaths too. So let's go back to infrastructure, footpaths, to make sure no matter which direction the citizens are coming from that they can easily access the building. If I can I put a footpath around agrifarm? I guess not. Okay, we're getting there. There's the basic setup. So it goes the agrifarm to the grain silo, the food factory to the warehouse to the grocery store. But of course, we still have some more work to do. Let's close that up and go back to infrastructure. Go to train tracks, railways, electrified railway. I'm going to just put some railway in here because in the future, if I have excess food, I'm going to want to export it. So this basically is a placeholder for now to make sure I don't forget that I want to export food in the future. And of course, I'm going to have to hook this guy back up. Oh, production has stopped. So let's take a look at that at the power plant. Okay, back to the power plant. We have a problem. Let's click on this guy and let's just go to purchase. We're going to purchase some coal. Somehow I keep running a little too low. I'm going to add a little bit on there and purchase that. Hopefully keep a steady flow. And then when things start to pile up here, I'm going to turn that off because I don't want to export coal if I don't need to. So back over at our warehouse, I want to run this rail line back to my depot, my rail depot. So let's build some more electrified track. And there it is there. And let's see if we can get that in. They're going to let me put it through there. It does. Okay. And where am I going to go now? Got to connect here, so something like that. Well, let's go back to here. Let's go back to the depot. And then we're going to have to get underneath these high-powered or high-voltage lines. Let's just go through there at right angles. That ought to do it. I got to connect up to there, so maybe the easiest way is to do right angles. It's not great for a train. It's not too bad. And hook that guy. Oh, I don't think that worked out. It did not. So let's fix that. Cancel the railway through that little section and see if we can get that to connect up better. Go back to electrified railway. Okay, this is really being grumpy. Let's demolish it this time. Okay, back to electrified railway, and there we go. That's a better connection. So now I'm connected back to my rail depot and all the way over to my warehouse. And I think I'll just connect up that track for now. Again, I don't want that space to get taken up as I start to build things, so let's put the track down. Go back to railways and electrified track, and we want to get over to this location here. And we'll make the connection. Alright, I'm not going to run a train there, so I don't have to worry about signals, I don't think for now, but at least my railway is in place. If we click on our agrifarm, we see we don't have any power, so we got to fix that problem. So let's just go to infrastructure, medium voltage lines, and a switch. Now they all have power, so really I can go as far out as I can. Go over like this. Put a switch in. Well, that's electric substation. Maybe I'll just over here, something like that. Let's plop that in there. And I need a switch. Maybe more than one. So let's put a switch in here. And turn that around, put another switch in there. I like switches. I should probably put too many of them in, but at least it gives me lots of opportunity to put power lines in later. I mean, I suppose you could not put them in and you could bulldoze some power lines and save yourself some money. That's the other option. And perhaps I should do things more that way. But for now, this is how I'm doing it. We'll close that up. And this guy here has got power. Not a lot, but nobody's pulling on him yet. Got wattage. Does this guy have power now? He does. Let's get this food factory on its legs and going. Well, there's no workers and there's no resources, so let's fix one of the problems. And the citizens' happiness is too low. That seems to be a common theme for me in this game. So back to the food factory, let's purchase some crops just to get them started. Let's try 8 tons and see how that goes. We'll purchase it and import it. Go back to our food factory. It doesn't have any workers, so I can bust them in or build some residents more closer or more closely. So I think what I'm going to do is extend a road through here and start putting some housing in here. So let's do that. Back to my roads and see if we can build a road through here. And then I'm going to put a bus stop in there somewhere because there might be a lot of housing later. There isn't right now, of course. Let's just zoom in a little bit. See if we can get this. I think I want to turn it that way. Do I? They can walk to the food factory, so that ought to work. And maybe something like that. And then we'll put in, oh, that isn't a building, that's a bus stop. So now I need a building, go near it. A residential building, that is. Go back to construction, residential buildings, and plop in a flat in there. And something like that, perhaps. Go there. And let's start hooking some things up. A footpath, or 2 or 3. Since they seem to like footpaths in this game. The citizens, so put a few in. Then back to roads, road connection at our bus stop. Bus platform. We have lots of people walking to this bus stop, but only a few people, well, they're starting to go now. They're starting to walk over to the food factory. But it certainly looks like these people want to be somewhere else, so I better get a bus going to get these people transported. Let's go over to our garage, and we will purchase bus. Now, which one do we want? This one here looks like a good in-town bus, maximum speed of looks like 65 kilometers per hour, and can carry, that number is so tiny, it looks like 80 passengers, but I can barely read it. Let's go with that one. And then we'll move over and we'll make up a route for this guy. Start there, and go there. And then go there. And hit start. So I'm hoping that'll get people to where they want to go. Let's just check to see what's happening at the grocery store. So if we click on that, we've got a number of sellers, 14 out of 15, and we have some shoppers. And we have power, and we have some food in storage in the warehouse. That's good. And that back to our warehouse. It's starting to fill up. We're at about 3% now, so that's good. And our factory is working. Current number of workers around 79 or 80. But I am importing, so you can see my numbers going down here. So at some point, I'm going to want to stop that. Just as a quick aside, if I go to my economy and I look at my imports, there we go, click on that. You can see that there it is, there, crops and coal is really costing me. So my goal is to reach a point where I'm not importing those goods. Alright, it's now time to build some farm fields. So let's go to construction, food and crops, and let's do some big fields. So let's spin that guy around. and just nestle them in right about there. Put a second one there. Turn him around because I think a farm can handle 4 fields. Plop that there. That one there. I'll put down some roads, and basically we're out in the country, so I think a gravel road is adequate. So we'll connect up here. And make sure we have a connection. Oop, let's just connect that back up. So now let's go back to our agrifarm and buy the vehicles we need to make this whole thing happen. Let's go to purchase, and of course we need sowing equipment. So let's go with, these are big fields, so I'm going to take a big tractor. Let's take the most expensive one. So I'll take 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And in terms of harvesting, I'll take 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Maybe I'm overdoing it, but let's go with that. And for the covered hull, let's maybe go with, not necessarily the biggest one, but how about this one here? There we go. Now with our agrifarm, everything is all right with this farm, and we got the green check mark. Close that up. And here come the tractors to start sowing the seeds. So that's basically it for a simple, straightforward food supply chain to a grocery store. If we click on our first field, you'll see that we don't have any workers in the field right now, but I don't think we need them because sowing's in progress. So there'll be some sowing and growing and then harvesting. So that'll take some time. But basically, all the components are in place. Well, folks, I think that's enough for today. We've started to feed our citizens, and our farm is coming along. We're planting the seed, and eventually we'll be growing and harvesting those crops. So where do we go from here? Well, the answer to that question lies in the next video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you haven't done so already, smash that subscribe button below right now and click on the bell so you don't miss out on more great content. Click on that box in the bottom left-hand corner right now to see a video you're almost guaranteed to love. This video was selected just for you by YouTube, and they know what you like. So what are you waiting for? Click on that box now, sit back, relax, and enjoy another video.